All right, we are continuing to follow breaking news out of Dayton tonight. Crews are on the scene of a shooting. We want to give you an idea of where this happened. Police got a call in the area of Redford Avenue and Manhattan Avenue. Chief Afzal is right now giving an update to reporters. Let's go listen in live.
Stayed with that individual. The other individual took off running, and that's the individual that we ran after, and that's the individual that was involved in the shooting.
Right. Were there any officers injured?
No officer was injured. All officers are physically doing okay. Obviously, this is emotionally draining for individuals involved, for the department, from the community itself.
And you said, I'm sorry, who was conducting the investigation?
The investigation was conducted by Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. So by protocol, we don't do our own investigations where there's an officer involved shooting.
Okay. And then you said the one suspect transported to Miami Valley Hospital is in critical condition?
Critical conditions.
Is there anything else that you can add at this time?
Nothing else at this point, unfortunately.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you.
All right, you have been listening to Live. That is Chief Cameron Afzal, the Chief of Police for Dayton, giving an update on an officer-involved shooting again at the area of Manhattan Avenues, as well as Redford Avenue, saying that one of the suspects was taken to the hospital in critical condition. You can see it's still a very active scene there. Most of that road continues to be shut off. We will continue to follow this throughout the newscast, and we'll bring you live coverage as it continues. In the meantime, a community continuing to grieve tonight after a shooter opened fire inside a Louisville, Kentucky bank. Now, the four names that you see on your screen there, Josh Barrick, James Tutt, Thomas Elliott, and Juliana Farmer, were all killed. And within the last hour or so, Louisville police announced that 57-year-old Deanna Eckert was named as a fifth victim for what happened today. 8 others were taken to the hospital. That includes 2 officers, one of which was shot in the head while responding to that shooting.
Investigators say the 25-year-old Connor Sturgeon opened fire inside Old National Bank early this morning. Now, we want to show you video from the scene earlier today. Police say that the suspect used a rifle. The shooter was then later shot and killed by police.
Officers were on scene within 3 minutes. The suspect shot at officers. We then returned fire and stopped that threat. The suspect is deceased.
As of tonight, the motive remains unclear. The investigation is ongoing at this hour.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, very emotional today when talking about that shooting. That's because he says he lost a close friend during it. When he spoke about the shooting earlier this afternoon, he revealed his friend, Tommy Elliott, was one of those who had been killed.
We lost 4 children of God today, one of whom was one of my closest friends. Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad. It's one of the people I talk to most in the world, and very rarely were we talking about my job.
Now, Beshear referred to Elliott as a good friend.
And we have been seeing reactions across social media tonight after that mass shooting in Louisville. Lydia Bice is at the Now Desk right now. And Lydia, who are we hearing from tonight?
Well, Vice President Kamala Harris took to Twitter this afternoon. She says, "We grieve for those lost and pray for those wounded in Louisville, the 146th mass shooting in our nation this year. We need leaders with the courage to act. We can't fall for a false choice between upholding the Second Amendment and saving lives. We can do both." Now, former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi tweeted, "No one should live in fear of gun violence in our schools, on the job, or in our communities." After yet another deadly mass shooting, sadly still in the holy season, our prayers and our hearts are with the victims, their families, and the Louisville community. Enough is enough. Now, Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott took to Twitter this evening as he was personally connected to one of the victims in today's shooting as well. He says, "My friend Tommy Elliott was killed today in Louisville. He was my banker for many years. This news is very shocking and sad for Ann and me. He did so much in the Louisville community, and we pray for his family during this awful time." Back to you.
Lydia, thanks. And we're also learning new information about that gunman, 25-year-old Connor Sturgeon. Now, Sturgeon was an employee at that bank who was told he was going to be fired, reportedly. He did write a note for his parents and a friend about that shooting. Police are now in possession of a video after becoming aware that that shooting was apparently live streamed on Instagram.
Among those injured includes 26-year-old Louisville police officer Nicholas Wilt. He was sworn in less than 2 weeks ago. Now, Wilt was struck in the head during the incident. He had come out of brain surgery earlier this afternoon. Nicholas remains in critical condition at this hour.
And we will have continuing coverage online, too. You can head over to our website, Dayton247now.com, to get the very latest updates. Those can all be found on our homepage.
And we do have a sad update tonight to Saturday's explosion in Springfield. We now know a woman who was severely burned has died. 2 others were hurt, including a young child. Claire Faith has been following this story since it broke for us on Saturday and now brings us the very latest.
Right now, we do know that the Springfield Fire Division was called for a natural gas leak that turned into this explosion. Earlier today, we learned that 50-year-old Adeline Duquetto, who suffered severe burns from the explosion, died from her injuries. The assistant fire chief tells me they are investigating the cause, but they do believe it could have been a large leak in the supply line.
A natural gas leak is usually caused by an appliance within the house that has some sort of leak, usually its supply line. Too much gas and it won't burn, too little gas and it won't burn, but just the right amount with the air and it will explode. And that's exactly what happened. Is it found some heat source. Again, we don't know that either, what the heat source was, but some heat source, the right gas mixture, and you'll have the explosion we had.
The Springfield Fire Division is investigating what exactly happened to this apartment behind me, but the 2 other victims are still recovering in the hospital. One victim is improving and the other victim is in critical conditions. Reporting in Springfield, Claire Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
All right, let's talk about weather, because the start of this week is what we've been waiting for and hoping for the moment we switched over to spring.
Yeah, finally, we got some nice weather.
And consistent, too.
Right. A nice long stretch of sunshine, and it gets even warmer by later this week. If you thought today was nice and you were thinking, you know, it could maybe be about 5 degrees warmer, well, I got some good news, because it is going to get warmer. In fact, more than 5 degrees warmer by later this week. But right now we're in the 50s, 56 in Dayton, 50 in Troy, 45. Cold spot up in Wapakoneta, 46 in Urbana. So if you're out this evening, you will need a light jacket or a sweater by especially tomorrow morning. But all of us sitting warmer right now compared to this time yesterday, and we'll remain on the warmer side. So we're 5 degrees warmer in Dayton, 2 degrees warmer in Springfield, and then heading into the day tomorrow, we'll start out with temperatures in the 40s. So kids out at the bus stop, again, light sweater, coat, but we do get back into the 70s by the afternoon. And again, that's with lots of sunshine. But coming up, rest of the week's forecast, going to talk about how much warmer we get and when we get some rain back in the picture too.
Natalie, thanks. Live look tonight through our ODOT camera. As you can see, traffic moving very well following a police chase on I-75 southbound in Shelby County. Now, one person we know is in custody following this. Police say the suspect driving a black truck which crashed near mile marker 92. That's near the Michigan Street exit in Sydney. And we're still working to learn more about the charges the person's facing, the identity of the suspect, and why all this started in the first place. We'll update you on air and online as soon as we learn anything new.
A live look now from the Miami Valley Jail's website here behind me, where Stephen Marlowe remains in the Montgomery County Jail tonight for a 3rd time, though. A competency evaluation has been ordered in his murder trial. Marlowe's accused of killing mother and daughter Sarah and Kayla Anderson and husband and wife Clyde and Eva Knox last August. His first 2 evaluations were ordered by the defense attorney earlier this year after Marlowe entered an insanity plea in the case. But today, the court ordered a 3rd opinion. And if convicted, Marlowe could get the death penalty.
Trotwood police, they are continuing to investigate after a 15-year-old boy was found shot dead inside of an apartment. Now, police say that boy was found inside the bedroom of an Outer Bell Road apartment. Officials add that a 14-year-old boy was arrested and then charged with reckless homicide in connection. Now, as we learn new information, we'll of course update you here on air and online.
April is Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month, and Montgomery County is reminding everyone to be on alert for warning signs. Unexpected injuries, frequent absences from school, and acting constantly hungry or unclean are all potential clues of abuse or neglect. So far this year, the county's Children's Service Division has opened more than 1,000 cases.
Unfortunately, in our county, thousands of children are neglected or abused each year. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and it's up to all of us to ensure that our youngest and most vulnerable residents are safe.
Montgomery County's 24-hour hotline to report concerns is 937-224-KIDS. But if a child is in immediate danger, call 911. For more information on the signs and symptoms, that can be found in the web version of this story at Dayton247now.com.
Well, Columbus is fast approaching 50 homicides so far this year, on track to pass last year's total. City police have called it an alarming trend in the cases that they're seeing. Kate Seifert has those numbers for us tonight.
We are learning new homicide numbers from the Columbus Police Department. So far this year, there have been 46 total homicides. We are just 10 days into the month of April, and already there have been 6 homicides here in Columbus so far this month. We're also learning about a new trend from the Columbus Police Department regarding domestic violence related homicides. They tell us so far this year, there have been 8 homicides related to domestic violence. Last year, there were only 7 for the whole year. Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryan says sometimes those are things that the department can't police. It's up to the community to stay vigilant and looks for signs that someone might be in a crisis. Reporting in Columbus, I'm Kate Seifert.
The White House announcing today that they are prepared for a long legal fight to keep a popular abortion medication on the market. A Texas judge made a ruling that would take it off the market on Friday. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says if the decision stands, it will put women's health at risk. The White House says it will comply with the order, but expressed confidence the administration will win that legal battle.
Look, we are going to always follow the law, always, but doesn't mean that that we're not going to fight. Doesn't mean that we're not going to, as you know, DOJ has continued to appealed this, and will continue to fight in the courts.
Now, that pill has been available for more than 20 years and accounts for about half of all abortions.
A Republican congresswoman now fighting a judge's ruling on that abortion drug. Congresswoman Nancy Mace says that the FDA should ignore the ruling and says it's not up to legislators or a court system to decide the drug's approval.
Over the last 9 months, not shown compassion towards women. And this is one of those issues that I've tried to lead on as someone who's pro-life and just have some common sense. In the state of South Carolina, just a few weeks ago, we had some folks in the state legislature that essentially wanted to execute women who had abortions. So we've got some extreme views on this issue, but 90% of America is somewhere in the middle.
The Biden administration now has the chance to appeal the decision. Mace adds that she thinks the case should be thrown out.
Live pictures tonight from Dayton as an investigation into a shots fired call continues. We take you back out there live with the latest information.
Permanent health clinics now open in East Palestine. How this will impact the residents affected by the train derailment.
Plus, tracking sunshine and just a beautiful week of weather that's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
We're continuing to follow breaking news tonight out of Dayton. At least one person is injured following an officer-involved shooting happened along Redfern and Manhattan Avenues. Gwyneth Falloon has been there live talking with the police chief. Gwen, what did he tell you?
Yeah, Adam, Chief Cameron Offsalt just briefed the media just a few minutes ago, but things are definitely dying down a little bit. Here, let me step out of the way so we can show you the scene. As you said, Adam, one of 2 individuals involved with this is recovering right now in the Miami Valley Hospital in critical condition. Chief Offsalt tells me DPD was conducting a traffic stop when 2 individuals ran. That's when shots were fired, prompting a 99. Officers from Dayton Police, as well as the Sheriff's Department, and 2 Dayton fire trucks have responded to the scene. We are told that only the 1 individual was transported to the hospital, and according to Chief Offsalt, no officers have been injured. Take a listen.
No officer was injured. All officers are physically doing okay. Obviously, this is emotionally draining for individuals involved, for the department, from the community itself.
And things are definitely slowing down here. We've seen a couple patrol cars coming out and exiting. However, the road is still blocked off. We are here on Salem Avenue. Again, this incident took place at Redfern and Manhattan, right by the NAACP Dayton headquarters. We're told the sheriff's department is conducting the investigation. However, James Ryder with Dayton Police says they are conducting their own internal investigation. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation and a developing story. So as soon as we have any more information, we'll be sure to alert you both here on air, online, and through our Dayton 24/7 Now app. Back to you.
All right, Gwenna, thank you. And a grand jury in Ohio is now set to hear evidence this week in the shooting death of Jalen Walker. 8 officers are facing criminal charges after firing several rounds at Walker following a chase. Walker was shot at least 40 times. Prosecutors with the Ohio Attorney General's office will be presenting that case. The courthouse and city are prepared for possible protests.
A mom is facing charges after her 6-year-old son shot his teacher in Virginia. We're not naming the 25-year-old mother in order to shield her son's identity, but a grand jury indicted that mom on felony child neglect charges. The boy shot his first-grade teacher in January inside her classroom. Police says the mother legally purchased the gun. The mother's attorney says she had it secured on a top shelf in her closet with a trigger lock.
Well, great weather across the Miami Valley for today, climbing into the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. Thanks to high pressure, we had a lot of sunshine, and that's going to be really the story through most of this week. So we have southwesterly winds. High pressure has clockwise flow, so we're on the back side of this. And we'll continue to see a southwesterly breeze during the day tomorrow, getting even warmer. And in fact, temperatures continue to climb towards the end of this week, too. So for tonight, going to be chilly, but close to normal. In fact, slightly above normal for this time of year. We'll wake up to 40s as you head into tomorrow morning, but by tomorrow afternoon, 70s with sunshine. Checking into our Wednesday morning, we wake up to 50s even, and then by Wednesday afternoon, mid, even some upper 70s in the forecast. It does get even warmer. I'm going to talk about that coming up here in just a bit.
Natalie, thank you. A truck carrying toxic soil from the East Palestine train derailment, it itself overturned earlier today. Happened in Columbiana County on State Route 165. The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and the Ohio State Highway Patrol, they all worked that crash, and the road was closed as they cleaned up what had spilled out. Now, the driver of that truck has minor injuries. The cause of that overturn still remains under investigation tonight. Also, new permanent health clinics are coming to East Palestine. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine was there today to cut the ribbon to one of those clinics, which replaces a temporary one that was set up there. He says the state will provide funding to keep the new one free for those who don't have health insurance and will help even more than those close to the derailment site.
Well, I think initially this clinic will serve for not only East Palestine, but for neighboring communities.
Now, Governor DeWine had previously pledged to open the permanent clinic. That happened when he testified before a Senate committee last month. And soil testing also began on farms around the area. Efforts were kicked off at Lindsay's Pine Hill, New Jersey farm in New Waterford. People from the department cut samples, prepared to ship them off to be analyzed for any hazardous compounds that would have been found in the derailed trains.
So we've got about 30, and that'll be, like I said, anywhere from winter wheat, alfalfa, regular grass pastures that the livestock are going to be out eating in the fields. And we've tested all those, and to date we've seen zero concerns of any kind of chemical toxicity.
Now, Baldridge says if they see any concerns in these results, they will reinvestigate and do more testing. Live pictures over the White House tonight, where officials are still searching for answers following a leak of classified military documents. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says officials still don't know who's behind it or what their motive could be. He also declined to confirm the validity of the documents, but did emphasize this is information that has no business in public.
I think every American can understand, at least I would hope every American can understand, that in order to protect this country every day the way we do, one of the things that we have to protect is information. Not only the information itself, but the manner in which we glean that information.
Now, documents related to the Ukraine war were posted to social media. The White House says President Biden was briefed on the situation late last week, and the administration is taking these disclosures very seriously.
And now we want to give you a live look tonight from our Eco Plumbers Skycam. It is a pretty actually a pretty warm night. Got a little chillier the past, I think, since we were out here, last hour maybe, but absolutely beautiful day.
It has been gorgeous. From start of the day to the evening, that sunshine, the sunset was great. Gets even better from here too.
And I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah, warming up even more. 70s back in the forecast tomorrow, and we're going to get close to 80 degrees by later this week. So take a look at our temperatures over these next several days. So lower 70s Tuesday, Wednesday back in the mid 70s, close to 80 on Friday. Now we do get some rain back in the mix by later this week, but enjoy this warmer weather while it's here. We know it's still April, so it doesn't last forever. In fact, our overall temperature trend, this is from the Climate Prediction Center, from the 18th to the 24th, so by the middle to end of this month, it's looking like a cooler than normal temperature trend. In fact, I do have some 50s in our 7-day forecast. I'll have a look at that coming up.
Natalie, thanks. Residents in Cedarville protesting a new ordinance, the restrictions involving animals that new rule places. Also, Clear Creek Township Police have a new place to call home, the benefits of the new facility, and how they say it will help serve the community better. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Alley cat allies and supporters gathered in Cedarville tonight protesting a proposed ordinance that would fine people for feeding stray cats. It would outlaw the feeding of community cats as well as barking dogs and even squirrel feeders in the village. If it passes, a dog who barks even once would violate 2 separate ordinances, leading to a fine of up to $300 per offense. Tonight, community members gathered before the village council meeting to voice their